Vigilante who runs the king of violent thieves with how many guns, retrieving, shooting for the kill.
That's a good place to start. Welcome to the Big Questions podcast, where we talk about love, death, sex, religion, and all the big questions worth asking. I'm your host, Robert K. Elder, and today we're talking with recording artist Tristen, who just played at Subterranean in support of her new album, Caves. The Big Questions is sponsored by Shure, purveyors of professional microphones and headphones. You can check them out at shure.com. That's SHURE.com. Tristen, welcome.
Hi.
So, you are sort of a local girl. You started playing at the Abbey Pub at 17.
That's right.
And I'm guessing you still get carded.
Right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. I still get carded, and then there's just all the disappointment that comes after they find out how old I really am.
And your first full-length record was Charlatans at the Gate in 2011. Is that right? And this is your follow-up, which is sort of very synth inspired. There's some a little bit of a rhythmics influence in there as well. But the other thing that has changed since that record is you got married. Is that right?
Well, I wouldn't even insert that part of my life into that chronology.
Oh, really? Well, why not?
But I don't know. I think that if we want to talk about like the transition, we should probably go back a little further. I mean, I've been recording since I was a kid. I moved to Nashville. I had my first released record, or I did a demo record called Teardrops and Lollipops, and I put it up on the internet. And that was all by myself. And then I got a band. I started playing in Nashville, put out Charlatans at the Garden Gate with Jeremy Ferguson and battle tapes. And simultaneously, I met my husband. His band was playing, and we started dating, for 4 years. And then after his band broke up, I immediately swooped in and was like, I need you to tour with me because you're awesome. And I don't really trust anybody else to play the lead guitar in my band, I had like a thing before that was like, no lead guitar, very hyperbolic, early 20s, like, no lead guitar, even though lead guitar is amazing and great. So, anyway, so I guess that's how I would describe what happened.
Sure. So, and let's be honest, did you break up his band?
No, I did not. I had nothing to do with it because his band was so hot that I was in the front row screaming like a little girl. And believe you me, when you're in a relationship with another person that's artistic and likes to make things, when they're successful, there's nothing more sexy than like a guy that's really in their prime creatively in a band. I mean, that's hot. That's the dream.
Well, but what are the complications when you tour with your husband?
No, there's no complications. It's perfect. There's no complications with touring. I think at this point, we figured it out, and it's more of like, I think when you're in a relationship with somebody, you kind of have the luxury of focusing on the things you're good at and like taking roles in accomplishing the same thing. And so I think that we're very understanding of what the other one needs to be focused on. And so we have a symbiosis that works. Is that forever? Who knows? I mean, it's life.
Well, and what is it? I actually just asked this.
It's so much easier, honestly, having somebody.
Oh, good. Well, and then you're not touring away from that person as well.
Yeah, there's no conflict. You get to see the world together. It's amazing. And also, you have to remember that when you're like constantly making stuff, you want to be with somebody else that's creative. And if you can be creative together and then spend your time outside of being creative, being interested in things together, and you have a lot of common interests that way, you don't have to sacrifice anything. Like, you don't have to be like, I can't work on my music right now because I can't work on my music right now because I have to go hang out with my girl. That never happens.
Well, and I know you tried the Nashville sort of co-writing route, and you said that it had not worked out.
I'm doing that right now.
Now you're back. Okay, so what?
I never tried it.
Oh, well, okay.
It's a club.
Okay.
I moved there. I'm an outsider. No parents in the music industry.
But isn't that a town of outsiders? No.
No.
Okay.
I mean, there is a lot of I'll tell you what, that place has a long history of incredible musicians and people touring and making a living and writing songs. And so there's this lineage there. So it's all these amazing musicians' kids, because for years, all the best musicians are attracted there. And so you have just this crazy situation where it's, you know, a lot of people that have always lived there. And it's their hometown, and they're very, you know, we didn't know anybody. All I'll say is I was an outsider. So I didn't really have any ambition to try to I just went the natural route. And for me, that was just playing shows and partying, I guess. Well,
but you had described yourself as sort of a loner in previous interviews. You said, I'm sort of a loner.
I am.
And so, what got you into co-writing, and how is that challenging your loner identity?
It's completely different is what I'm learning. The reason I did it is because I wanted to get involved in my community a little bit more. That was one of the things, to get outside of myself, because I tend to be pretty, wrapped up in what I'm doing, and I wanted to, I just wanted to try it out and see what it's all about. So I started doing it with people that I really respect as writers, and then lately I've just been kind of writing with anybody. Just to see. It's just kind of like a way to collaborate. And it's different. It's not the same as me writing by myself, because when I write by myself, I have, I can do whatever I want, and I can do it any way that I want, and I can take as much time as I want on it. When you get to co-writing, is about getting in a room and creating an environment where everyone feels comfortable enough to share their ideas and comfortable enough to say when they don't like something. So it's by committee. So it's just more collaborative. And sometimes it makes something really crazy and different than what you would normally do. Sometimes it doesn't work, but I've never not written a song with somebody if we sit down.
Are you writing for artists in particular, or just to build a catalog?
That's a really great question. I've yet to really figure out what the whole point of it is. I'm just doing it, and I don't really know. I don't really know how to navigate that. I'm just kind of, I think, just trying to make great songs. That's really it. I mean, and I feel that if I write with these people and then I record and demo them, which I do at my house, that they'll be there for whatever they need to be there for. It's just not really about, I don't really know.
Well, you're
asking me why. Well, I have no idea why.
It's not necessarily why. I'm asking just sort of how. That's the thing, because we had Jim Peterick, who was on the show, and he was with the band Survivor for years, but he's also written.
I know Jim.
Okay.
I'm from here.
Yeah. Well, he's written songs for a ton of people, including
I Have the Tiger, right?
Yeah. Well, plus Reba McEntire, and he's had a lot of people pick up. So he's somebody to I guess use as a model, because he's written for everyone.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you hope to get eventually. I'm sure. Just to build a relationship with an artist that, needs a collaborator or is looking to do something and you have something together. But yeah, I mean, I think that that's part of me just sort of wanting to collaborate more with people musically. You can just get so much further. I mean, I collaborate with my band. I collaborate with Buddy.
And do you write with Buddy?
Buddy and I have written 5 songs together. We randomly over time, always just out of fun. Honestly, we've never sit down to do it, but we collaborate musically in my band because we're a production team at this point, for sure. Well,
and you guys did this amazing cover of "The Man Who Sold the World" at your show, and it made me think of that's a great Bowie song that Nirvana sort of made its own, and I felt on the unplugged record, and I sort of felt that everybody who covers that song now is covering Nirvana. How do you feel?
Well, how I feel about that is that it's true, because that was my first experience with the song.
Yeah.
Was through Nirvana covering that song. I mean, that was a soundtrack of my childhood.
Who knows? Not me. We never lost control. Your face to face of a man who sold the world.
and I definitely want to get to that because there's a whole segment to the show that's devoted to that. But I want to ask a little bit more about songwriting because especially that first full-length record, the Charlatans record, Charlatans, right?
Mm-hmm. Charlatans at the Garden Gate.
I know. I'm just trying to say it quickly, and it's not working. Charlatans. Like that's a very personal record, and there are songs there about previous relationships.
Absolutely.
Is that weird? Like performing that on stage?
No.
With your husband?
No, I've never even thought.
Now it's like now that you think about it, is it weird?
No, it's not because I think that part of the reason why I like certain songs is because they have a quality to them that doesn't necessarily, I mean, they're composites of people and relationships. It's not really about one specific person.
I feel like Baby Drugs. I feel like Baby Drugs is about a specific person. No.
I know you only do it when you're lonely, and when I'm not around, you just give up. Baby, don't you want me to bring you those drugs?
Baby Drugs is about a specific person, but it wasn't my relationship.
Oh, really? Interesting. Interesting.
No, I mean, I get a lot out of my friends' relationships, a lot.
And for those who don't know the song,
And
it's
Woody
about...
Allen movies. Oh, Baby Drugs?
Yeah, well, for those who don't know the song, it's about a relationship with a drug addict.
Yes, it's about your baby doing drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Woody Allen, follow that thought up, please.
Well, I mean, I went to DePaul University for relational group and organizational theories of communication. I'm really into talking about like love, and I love Woody Allen because I just love thinking about, the same, I like, the kind of conversation a group of girls will have about their relationships when they're really good friends, and kind of these overarching things that go on in relationships that are, pretty normal, but kind of sometimes not healthy. But yeah, relationships with a drug addict, yeah, the guy that's waking up in the morning and drinking the rest of the whiskey from the night before just to like stop the shakes. Yeah, that's I mean, drugs, and I work for the beverage industry. I'm in the music. I play in live in bars.
Yeah.
So drinking and drugs and all that's a big part of our culture, and a big way that people cope with sort of a terrible world we're living in as far as like not really being very natural. So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, and tell me a little bit about your, I guess your own growth from going from DePaul. Again, in previous interviews, you talked about moving to Nashville and being young and easy to trust, and then you had sort of that naive perspective shattered. How so, and how are you different?
Well, I moved to Nashville because I knew it was a song city and I knew I could write songs. I had never had a problem just cranking them out. Mm-hmm. And so I moved down there to be a songwriter, and at the time I had no clue how to do it, but I just started going to shows and I saw that all the bands were amazing and just started to want to play shows. And that was kind of the route that I went, And in anything that you do, it's about, meeting the right people, having the right people help you out, meeting other artists, having them contribute their talents to what you're doing.
Isn't that Duke Ellington, doing the right thing in front of the right people at the right time?
Mm-hmm. You got to be really, really good and then get really lucky. That's kind of how it works. So you just have to work on being good all the time, and that's all that matters. And playing with the right people and being, just finding the right music that you like being on the scene, creating your own scene. And we did that in Nashville. I mean, there was a big group of our bands. Buddy's band was one of them, and Caitlin Rose was another one. I mean, I met Caitlin Rose when she was singing at the Springwater, and I loved her. And, we started playing shows together, and we had a band for a second and wrote some songs together. We were just running around drinking, which is all there is to do in Nashville besides play music and see shows, and just creating a scene. I think that's what we were doing, and playing shows and playing music.
Well, in your last record, you raised $22,000 through Kickstarter to put out there.
I did.
And part of it was because somebody left a Lowry organ in your apartment. Am I remembering that right?
No, well, part of it.
The direction of the record.
Yeah, the direction of the record, definitely. I acquired Jordan Lenning's Lowry Adventurer. It's kind of a cheesy, they're very nice Lowrys, but this one in particular is kind of like cheesy but awesome. I still love the way it sounds. And I just, started writing songs on keys. And that's kind of how that started. I also had acquired an Alesis HR-16, which is like a very early 90s drum machine. And I was touring with Buddy, and I were doing a duo tour with a drum machine. So that sort of informed the direction of the record as well. So yeah.
What is Pup Snake Records? Where does that name come from?
Pup Snake is the name of the first plant I ever bought.
Is it still around?
No, it died, sadly, but that's his life.
This is its legacy. I want to talk about your influences and whatnot, and I think that a really interesting way to get into that is sort of the segment that we're debuting called My Life Soundtrack. And I have a way I want to lead you through it, but then I'm happy to be led elsewhere. Tell me about the first record you bought with your own money.
The first record I bought with my own money was from Coconuts. Does everybody remember Coconuts?
Oh, Coconuts, yeah. Is it still around, or is it a dead chain? Oh, okay.
It's a thing of the past. I think it was like Madonna's Immaculate Collection. Dear Jessie, that's all I have to say. I still love that song.
Now, which one is that? I don't have that one.
It's the one with the string. It's a string arrangement.
Okay.
Dear Jessie, and on the love parade, candy kisses in the summer day. And then there's there's this great string arrangement in the middle of it. You'll have to play it for the folks.
Okay, I'll try to find it.
It's easy.
I'm drawn to the single version of "Oh Father" and "Keep It Together." Strangely, I don't know why. I'm a minority. What was the first record bought for you? So, like, somebody was giving you music. What's the one that stuck?
It's really hard to remember, but I would say there's a few competing like big records of my childhood. We only had a couple. We didn't have a lot of music around the house. We didn't have a lot of money, so we mostly listened just to the radio. But I would definitely think we had Dolly Parton's greatest hits, and we had Tanya Tucker's greatest hits. And I did Coat of Many Colors in the 3rd grade talent show, and Delta Dawn in the 4th grade talent show.
My coat of many colors that my mama made for me, made only from raves, but I wore it so proudly.
So yeah.
I was going to say, in the 5th grade, just songs about cheating.
No, in 5th grade it was Hero by Mariah Carey. It was a big song that year, very big song.
What was the song that was playing during your first makeout session?
Oh gosh, the one that I really remember being like when I had a makeout session would probably be, remember that song "All My Life" by Casey and JoJo?
No, we're gonna have to dig it up.
I cherish every hug. I really love you so much, baby. Pray for someone like you, and I think of that.
Definitely had a makeout session to that as a teenager.
It dug a deep groove.
Seriously, this is how we do it, Montel Jordan. Oh my God.
Tell me about just guilty pleasure, song that you love that you often have to defend.
That's hard. Guilty pleasure. I'm trying to think if I have to defend myself ever.
Something comes on the radio, Buddy is like, turn that off.
I don't know.
All right. No, we can come back to it. They're not easy answers to these. Okay.
Yeah. I think I probably have to defend Tori Amos.
Oh, really? Buddy. Okay.
But I think that's just insanity because she's obviously amazing. I even made her see. I made him see her with me at Bonnaroo a few years ago.
Yeah.
Still.
I have seen her a lot, probably almost more than any other artist. I have interviewed her a couple times, and then when it'll be playing, my wife will yell from the kitchen to the office, "Are you on your period?"
Excuse me, but can I be you for a while? My dog won't bite if you sit real still. I got the Antichrist in the kitchen yelling at me again. Yeah, I can hear, been saved.
Like,
yes, this is very vaginal. Her music is very vaginal. I will admit that. But here's what I have to say about it. I don't think there is a boyfriend I didn't have to defend Tori Amos to. So.
And why is that?
I think that, music speaks to different people for different reasons. And I think that, like I said, I think her music's very emotionally resonant with females. I think there's a lot of men, I know a lot of men that also like her. It's really good music, and she's incredible, like an incredible composer, an incredible producer. Her records are really great sounding.
Well, and what song or what handful of songs are the ones that sort of have carved themselves in your heart?
Little Earthquakes. I mean, we did a covers night where we did that record in its entirety.
Oh, is that
in
recorded
Nashville.
somewhere? I would love to hear that.
No, there's no footage of it.
I would love to see that.
It's insane. It was really good. But it's, it's just, you had to be there. You had to buy the ticket.
I had to travel 300 miles. A song that still haunts you.
A song that still haunts me. I would say that, this is what I think of when you say that question, so I'll sort of answer it.
Sure.
I think that my father always listened to Frank Zappa growing up, and I really don't like Frank. Although I acknowledge that he's musically incredible, and now, like, my husband really likes Frank Zappa,
right.
And so I sort of think that's the artist that haunts me.
Frank Zappa is his Tori Amos.
Exactly. I think that haunts me a little bit. And I know that Frank Zappa's good, because musically I understand what he's doing, or I don't understand what he's doing. That's probably why I think he's so good. But at the same time, it's just such this association when you're a kid with wanting to rebel.
I might be moving to Montana soon, just to raise me up a crop of dental floss.
Raising it up. And you're like, I don't like anything my dad likes.
Well, and Zappa's an acquired taste. I mean, it took Frank Zappa and Captain Beefheart to make Tom Waits mainstream. Like, that's, like
it's great.
They are all sort of like an evolution, and it's hard, It takes it takes those two artists to be able to get Tom Waits' "The Earth Died Screaming." It's a rough journey. A song that got you through a breakup.
A song that got me through a breakup. Oh, I know. It's the best song ever. Skeeter Davis, "On and On and On." That song's amazing.
And what line? What was the hook that made it comforting?
Love has stopped, time has stopped, everything on this earth has stopped. Except these heartaches, these teardrops, and this loneliness goes on and on and on, on and on. And yeah, that's a good line.
It's also vaguely Harry Nilsson-ish, and I know you're a big Harry Nilsson
fan.
fan.
Nilsson.
Yeah. And Nico Case actually just did
I love Nico
Don't Forget Me. Like, she had this... You haven't heard it?
No.
Okay, we're gonna go in the house and we'll play it. She does it. I think she put an ad on Craigslist and had people drop off unwanted pianos, so it's played with like a vintage piano chorus.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's amazing. The song that you did your first dance to at your wedding.
I didn't have a wedding.
That you danced to when you got home.
I mean, I have to say we didn't dance to a song when we got home, but
do you have a song?
I would say that Buddy and I have a group. See, this is the thing with Buddy and me.
Okay.
Buddy and me at our number one very core heart of hearts are like really crazy Beatle lovers.
Okay.
And I feel like that's really where we kind of find our home because it's so important to us.
Mm-hmm. But what era? What if there's an album you can agree on? Is there an album?
an album that we can agree on. I mean, the White Album, obviously.
That plays a lot.
Yeah, but we really just like singing Beatles songs together. But I used to cover all kinds of We Can Work It Out. And
It's very therapeutic on the road, even though you have no problems on the road.
Oh, they want to do Come Together. The band keeps playing it on the road, and that's an option. But yeah, because Coley came in the other day with the bass line, boom, boom, doo, doo. And then Rollins was just like,
But do you know all the lyrics? That's a tough song to get all the lyrics straight.
I just pull it up on my phone. That's the beauty of the internet. Karaoke machine waiting.
You have a whole list I see written on the back of an envelope, I think, of other songs you want to talk about. But I want to get actually all the way through my questions, and then let's get to them. And that is the song you want to play at your funeral.
Oh man, the song I want to play at my funeral, I would have to say "End of the World," right, by Skeeter Davis.
Don't they know it's the end of the world? It ended when you said goodbye.
This entire podcast is just going to be a giant Skeeter Davis plug.
You know, Ave Maria as well, because I would like everyone to cry.
Okay.
And there's also
that's why I'm going to have a Porch Light by Nico Case, like that one, make everybody cry.
Yeah, just the one that is just going to just tear everybody to shreds. My mom's going to be flailed over the casket, crying.
Why are you projecting early death onto yourself?
Carl Sandburg. There's this poem I sent my mom a couple of months ago by Carl Sandburg, and I'll have to look it up. But it's definitely. I told her this is what I want read at my funeral.
Mm-hmm. And what was her response?
She thinks it's funny because we have jokes. This is a running joke in my family. You know how we want everyone to cry at our funerals. We just think it's funny.
You're all musicians at heart. So tell me what's on the list. You made a list.
Oh, I mean, what I was thinking about really was just like my life and how my musical interests have changed, and sort of like, because you had said that it was about sort of the soundtrack of your life.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like your perspective on it, where it's
pegged to
events, which is funny because I don't think about it that way. But it's very good.
But tell me, what's on the list?
Okay. I have Oldies 104.3 WJMK. I have Madonna. I have Salt and Pepper. I mean, we're talking, this is 8 years old.
It is.
Yeah.
And again, I have 6-year-old twins who may or may not know the words to Push It.
Push it real good. Push it. Push it.
That's what I'm saying. It's amazing.
Yes.
I have the Beatles, the Supremes, and then I have Dolly Parton and Tanya Tucker. And then I have kind of getting later into then we have to go with like 7th and 8th grade, No Doubt. I mean, that was like Tragic Kingdom was like Gwen Stefani.
It's amazing staying power for that band.
Very influential, I have to say, that record. Great. And then we talked about Tori already.
Mm-hmm. And what songs outside of Little Earthquakes?
What's the song about Jackie O? Jackie Strang.
Jackie Strang.
Make me laugh, say you know what you want. You said we were real fine, so I shall easy know.
That record's amazing.
From the Choir Girl Hotel, and I think it was. I think that record in particular was. I think it was a predecessor to Ray of Light, and I thought Tori did it better. just to be honest.
Oh yeah, that song's amazing. That record's amazing. So then we have sort of a lull in musical excitement while I was in college, and then we have Dylan. That was very much a college discovery and life altering experience. And Bowie. Everybody listens to Ziggy Stardust in college, I think. Then I moved to Nashville. I was really into Tom Petty. Everybody is. Anything on the radio. Then I moved to Nashville and I got really into traditional country music. So I was like obsessed with Wanda Jackson and Skeeter Davis, Loretta Lynn.
And you met Wanda Jackson. You got an autograph, is that right?
I sang on Wanda Jackson's last record.
Oh.
I sang backup.
So tell me what that experience was like.
Well, I was touring at the time with Justin Townes Earle, who's an amazing artist and songwriter. And he was producing Wanda's record. And I was called in as a backup singer, and I got to meet her, and she said she liked my haircut, and that was great.
But what did you learn as a backup singer? That's a relatively new job description for you, isn't it?
Oh no, I love singing backup. I do all the harmonies on my records.
On your own, but doing it for Wanda is different than finding.
I was with a group.
Okay.
So there were 4 of us girls, and I've done some backup singing sessions for sure. Yeah, I like doing
for
it.
Who?
I just sang on Michelle Branch's last record that might come out. I don't know what she's doing with it.
Okay.
I do just a lot of backup singing for friends of mine that make records. And, I love it. It's great. I sang backup with Those Darlings at Bonnaroo this year. I've done some cover bands and sang backup in cover bands. There was this, band that's still around. I don't play in it anymore, but it's called My So-Called Band. It's a 90s cover band in Nashville, and we started with about 8 of us and a group of singers, and we do all kinds of backup for each other, do 90s songs. Awesome. I was their only rapper. I did all Salt and Pepper and Cranberries. Oh man, it's good.
Well, I think you're one of the few people in her range. Like that's the other thing is you have sort of similar. Is it timbre? Is that the way to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me what period of Dylan? Like for me, it was Time Out of Mind, and that just shows my age.
Well, it was more song-oriented for me, but I would say, and in general, I'm more song-oriented than record-oriented. I started buying records about 4 years ago, but Bringing It All Back Home was probably like the first record I really got into, but I like a lot of it. I mean, Visions of Johanna is one of the best songs ever written.
Oh, how can I explain? It's so hard to get on. And these visions of Johanna, they'd kept me up past the dawn.
She's an Artist, which is on Bringing It All Back Home, is one of my favorite songs of all time. I can't really say an era. It's definitely, early Dylan.
Sure.
Not as, his first record's good, but it's like really Blonde on Blonde and kind of that era. I mean, he was putting out a record a year.
Yeah. For a while, it was a machine.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I know the flip side of Tori Amos is Henry Rollins. And I know that Rollins is an influence behind Forgiveness. Is that right? Your song Forgiveness?
I heard it. Well, I heard an interview with Henry Rollins, and he said, well, forgiveness for me is not, finding my father and beating him in the face with a hammer. And that's my definition of forgiveness. And I was like, heck yeah. That's kind of what that song's about. It's about, the whole idea is that I'll forgive you in my most desperate moment only if I really have to. And even then I might not,
And I love asking this of musicians, but is there a song that you've written that is about someone who doesn't know it's about them?
I don't know, because it's to the point now where my songs are very personal, but I think it's more character driven, I would say. Like again, it's more of a composite. It's more, have I experienced this enough times to think that it has some validity and some perspective to help people understand something about themselves or their partner or their friends. So I don't know. I don't know if it's that personal, but oh yeah, there's definitely songs.
Like now that you think about it, oh wait,
yeah, like my friend had this horrible woman living with him that was like a really mean, awful person, and she was like the most negative person. I used to describe her as a cockroach because that was really truly. She had some beef with me. I don't know. I didn't even really know her, but I would describe her as the personification of a cockroach. And I wrote this song called Anti-Baby, and I was just raging. I was just like writing it down, and it's about a person that just says they hate everything to seem interesting, and that really their rebellion against the thing is so guided by the thing that they really are just the thing that they hate. And that's what that song's about. But yeah, it's definitely about somebody, not naming names, but you know who you are.
Well, Tristen, I hope I never piss you off.
It's hard. It's hard to do. But, once I go to the anger zone, coming back.
I think that's a great place to end. You've been listening to the Big Questions Podcast Network. Tristen, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.